What is going on, you guys? We are back. Just got back from work, and we are starting progress with this thing. We got the bars on. We actually did get the clamps on. Everything was together here, but we did have to end up taking the tree back off the bars. We got some of the electronics on the bars, but like I said, I did have to take it all the way off. The issue that we ran into was this is our stock upper triple tree, and this is our new vitpilen upper triple tree here. You guys can see. So the issue I ran in was this project was going pretty smoothly until about this. So if you guys can see here, these things look basically the same, except this thing has obviously the risers, and then this one has the clip-ons here. But what I failed to notice here was the little security tabs here. For some reason, they're the same exact triple tree, but for some reason, the inserts here, they are off by a few inches here, so it is missing. You guys can see here, I'll show you guys. You guys can see there, it is actually smaller than these, actually longer. The vitpilen tree has a wider gap here than the stock one, which is here. So what we're gonna end up doing is we're gonna bust out the Dremel here, and we're gonna get a little bit of a diamond cutter here and start kind of shaving this down here, so we are able to lock the bike in both ways. Alrighty, y'all. So we have our Dremel out. We're using a little sanding wheel here, and we're just gonna go ahead and widen these divots out a little bit more, just so we can get that nipple to sit in there and we can actually lock the bike good. A little wheel grinder thing wasn't working, so we switched over to a little diamond cutter grinder. That should do the work too. So let's put on our safety glasses before we do any grinding here, and we'll start taking off a little bit of that material. There should be enough. Let's see if that did it. So I'm just adding a little bit of soapy water here, just so we don't scratch anything up that we don't want to scratch. And we are on the second, and we are on the second. Let's see if this bike will freaking lock, because we really don't want this thing to be stolen. Now, do we? Now, moment of truth. This thing's been beat to hell. To the left. Moment of truth. All the way to the left. Yep. We got lockage. We got lockage, y'all. So we have both ways locking now. Next step now is to get everything put together here without ruining this entire bike. So that was a little bit of a hassle to figure out, but we do want to round up those security divots there. That seemed to do the trick, but I'm kind of organizing the wires that were in here. They were all kind of like creeped in and like connected in here. I opened up the wiring loom a little bit, and I'm pulling it out so we can get some extension here. And this is the connector for the Speedo, the black one. So we have that in place. We have all our wires pushed outside here, so we can go ahead and have them reach over. There you go. I think we're about ready to seat this in again. So this is probably the last time we're gonna do this, but I'll move it up. Push it in. Make sure that we line up with the rubber grommet there. Lining up to the second stripe here. And it does look to be on the second stripe. And straight there. We are seated in. Let's put the screws back in there. So we'll put these T45s that we took out, since this is centered now. Center nut, it's going in. So let's put that center nut in. And like before, we used a 15/16. I'm gonna torque this bad boy down. I want that to be coming out on the road. So you want that as tight as possible. Now that we have these out, it's best we have these straight. They do look straight. So now that we have all the supporting bolts on the upper triple tree, which are the main big bolt and the two T45s, we can go ahead and secure that handlebar now. And I'm gonna loosely tighten these so we can adjust the center of this here. We want to put enough torque to hold it in place, but not so much that we can't adjust these the pro tapers here with some movement here. So we're gonna go ahead and shift it over, and that should be dead center here. Now we can put a little bit of torque on there. That's it. We have our bars in. Next step would probably be to get all this cleaned up here. We already got kind of everything pushed in again, but let's start putting things together again. And if we gotta take it apart, then so be it. We're gonna start by putting the little plastic cover back on. We do want to make sure that these turn signals are sitting straight here. Everything looks like it's clearing. So let's put this in again. There we go. Plastic piece is in. All right, this is starting to look like a bike again. Now we can start putting the bracket back. We're gonna go ahead and put the grommets back on here. Put the speedo back on. I'll clip that back in. All right, we have that in. Let's take the bolt out that we left here for the headlight. Let's get the bolts in the back. We are turning the wheel so we can fit the screw in here. Let's see. Yep, that's it. Let's try it on the other side. So that bolt should be gone right here as well. Gosh darn it, bro. It's getting there. Let's make sure that thing is working properly. Yep. Alrighty, so next step is to situate the electronics on here. The issue is whether or not we are going to be reaching here, and it doesn't look like we are. Yeah, we're definitely not reaching there anytime soon. Go ahead and cut the little zip tie we got here. We'll go ahead and replace that later. There's one. There's two. Yep, that's it. So let's see if I can kind of get this process here. I really need to be careful with these wires here. I need to extend these out. Just the slightest amount. But I need to be super careful with these cables because they're under a lot of pressure. I just need a little bit of... Okay. So we just need that one. That one should be enough. Okay. The red one is fine. Now the white one, yep, we are good here. All our connections have been made. We are completely fine there. We did have to pull out the wiring there. Let's see if these still work. I really hope they do. Yep. Right. Yes. Highlight. Okay. We good. Okay, everything works. Now we do have to work on the right side, which I believe is probably gonna be the hardest. So we cleaned up this piece right here. We shoved it back into the tubing here, and we zip tied it. We did check. We did a full motion of the wheel just to make sure that these cables here are not pinching one bit, because we do not want those to pinch at all. So all that's left now is to put the whole front face back together, and then put the pilot holes on these bars, and that should basically do it for this mod here. Coming together. It's all coming together. There you go. Whoa! Okay, we have everything connected. Yes, sir. Woo! We're almost done. We have all our electrical figured out. Lastly is going to be mounting the holes for the electrical components on here. We are going to do that by using a Dremel. Let me go ahead and take that out, and I'll take you guys back out here. Alrighty. So we are about to drill a hole in these bars. So I'm going to use a Dremel with a little pointy piece here. Let's see if this works. Alright, we got a little center punch there. Now we're going to switch this up to a little drill bit. This 13/64 bit gotta be it. That's it. Yep, that's it. Let's go ahead and install the Phillips head. We have the shortest piece that's closest to you. It's gonna be a long video. There you go. Now that thing is not going anywhere. And just like that, our left analog is completely done. Let's go ahead and continue on the right side. Now, the way I kind of figured out how to do this, what I'm gonna go ahead and do is I'm gonna take a little bit of white nail polish here. I'm gonna go ahead and put a little bit of that white nail polish on the little nipple there, and I'm gonna close this up, and it should mark where I need it to be. Yep, exactly what I need it. Now we have our little white mark here. That's it. We have our little punch hole. Now we're gonna switch it out to the small drill bit that we had. Hole in there. There we go. I can't emphasize enough, guys. Wear freaking safety goggles. There you go. We are in. And exactly centered here. Exactly how we want it. It was 11/64 as well, just like on that side. Let's go ahead and screw this bad boy in. Let's get the bolts for that. So like before, we have one short, one long. The short bolt is going to the hole closest to you. There you go. We have our electronics completely secured. These things are not going anywhere. We just got back from the store here. Last thing we got to do on this thing is cover all the connections that are on the side with some heat shrink here, with some 1-inch heat shrink, so we don't have to see all those connectors, and they are protected from the elements. Get started here. The heat shrink that I am using is a whole packet of 1-inch tubing. We're good there. We got all this covered up, protected. Nothing should occur to that. So now we're gonna just go ahead and reconnect the connectors here. So we got this whole thing situated. We were able to somehow figure out the whole heat shrink situation. We kind of had to force it in a little bit. I would suggest if you're doing it this way, get an inch and a half wide for the shrink wrap. Probably need like a foot of it. I secured the wires here to the zip tie points that I had before. The wires were a little bit weird to hide because those connectors are kind of bulky. So the turning radius was sometimes blocked by these little connectors, but we found the angle that none of these touch at all. So that took us a little bit of shrink wrap and zip ties here. So let me clean up here and I'll show you guys how this did end up. All right, ladies and gentlemen, and just like that, we are done with this mod. Before I show you guys this final reveal, all the main parts that were necessary for this mod were the vitpilen clamp, the bars, and the risers. I decided to go this route because one, the only other option out there was the ABM bar conversion, which is cool. I guess it looks pretty cool. There are a couple flaws with it. One being that it doesn't lock like our stock bikes lock. It only locks to the left, which is extremely weird since they do like manufacture those on, and you think they would fix that, but I don't know. With the vitpilen clamp here, it was strange because the security nipple that pops out and clamps onto the triple tree was actually wide, or it was more narrow than the original vitpilen triple clamp was. So I did have to shave that down a little bit with the grinder. But without further ado, here is my converted vitpilen.
I shall